Hi everybody and welcome back to Emmy Lou Books. In today's video I'm going to be doing a book discussion about The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. So for those of you who haven't read The Way I Used to Be and don't mind spoilers, or for those of you who have read it and just need a quick recap, The Way I Used to Be follows a girl called Eden, and it tells her story from being a freshman all the way up to being a senior in high school. So essentially the story is told in 4 parts. Right at the beginning of the book, Eden is raped by her brother's best friend, Kevin. This is obviously incredibly traumatic for her, and the rest of the story after this is basically how Eden deals with the aftermath of what happened to her and how it completely changes her world and turns everything upside down. So throughout the story, Eden experiences just about every emotion that there is. She feels quite angry with her brother and her mum for not noticing or suspecting Kevin. And she also feels incredibly lonely, but at the same time, she pushes everybody away because she's scared of anybody getting close to her. She meets a boy called Josh and they hit it off and get along really well. Josh really wants Eden to be her boyfriend, but Eden just feels like she isn't ready for that. So they start seeing each other, and obviously with what happened to Eden, she feels very guarded and very scared. And the relationship eventually breaks down because she's just so worried about anybody getting close to her. She still hasn't told anybody about what happened, so the relationship ends and they go their separate ways. After this, Eden goes a little bit wild and starts sleeping around with lots of different guys, drinking to excess and dressing very suggestively. Her best friend Mara notices this change in Eden because before all of this, Eden was kind of quite an ordinary girl. She was into books and reading. She dressed sort of quite casual, didn't really show off any of her body. And then all of a sudden she's behaving really wildly and dressing differently and acting differently. So her best friend Mara is obviously very concerned about Eden. But Eden isn't interested in talking to anyone about anything, so she manages to push just about everybody away, including her best friend Mara. By the end of the book, Eden is completely isolated by everyone. As I said, she's managed to push just about everybody that she cares about away from her. Josh, Mara, her mum and dad to some extent, her brother definitely. So by the end of the book, she is feeling incredibly lonely, isolated and angry. Finally, she decides that she just has to tell somebody, and this is actually 3 years after the rape happened. And one evening she decides to ring Josh and she wants to meet up with him and tell him everything. So she meets up with him and he's incredibly understanding and sweet, and he sort of says, "Oh, everything makes sense now, the way that you were acting. I wish that I had known before." After Mara has told Josh about what happened, she then decides to tell her brother, and this is a really important and significant part of the book because we've been waiting basically the whole book for Mara to tell her brother, and when she does, it's obviously incredibly emotional, and he reacts. He's very shocked and very angry because Kevin is his best friend. They've known each other for years, so obviously his reaction is not good. Once Eden's brother has calmed down and sort of managed to get used to the idea a little bit, he convinces Eden to go to the police station to file a report against Kevin. So he takes Eden along to the police station and she's finally able to tell her story. We later find out about Kevin that not only did he rape Eden, but that he's also been sexually abusing his younger sister Amanda, and that he too was sexually abused by his uncle. There's a part at the end of the book that I really like that I just wanted to share with you. It's right at the end of the book and it says, "I watch as his body melts down to the floor and I start to understand something too. That this isn't just about me. This thing, it touches everyone." And I really think that Amber Smith did such an amazing job at helping the reader to understand that when somebody is a victim of rape or sexual assault or anything like that, once they've told somebody about it, it's obviously going to affect them, and you carry around this big burden that once it's out there, and it doesn't just affect you, it affects the people around you, the people that love you. And I just really think that it was very insightful for Amanda Smith to put that in there. So what I thought about this book, I absolutely loved this book. I thought that it was amazing. I think that Amber Smith did a really, really good job of taking her time to tell the story. All of the characters were really well developed. The character of Eden, her progression throughout the book from the beginning to the end is really, really detailed, and you really get a clear understanding of how this has just completely changed her and affected everything in her life, and it's a really, really fantastic book. So if you haven't read this book and you think it might be something that you would like, I would highly, highly recommend it. It is fantastic, and as I said in a couple of videos prior to this, I think it's probably one of my favourite YA contemporaries ever. The last YA contemporary that I read that I loved as much as this was The Hate U Give. It really is a fantastic book. So thank you very much for joining me for today's video. If you do like this video, then please hit the subscribe button and hit like, and I will see you very, very soon for a new video. Thank you, bye!